Hello everyone, Gael here. For those who don't know me, I am an indie developer currently working on a survival horror game called Silent Corruption. In this video, I want to talk about my game, the story, the characters, the main mechanics, the vision I have for it, and my progress so far. Let's dive in! This game has all the mechanics you expect from a survival horror game. Walk, run, crouching, flashlight, limited inventory, resource management, combat, map system, but that's not all. Imagine Silent Hill, but you need to find food and shelter, eat, drink, sleep, like in the long dark, and in a town trapped in an eternal darkness, similar to the Upside Down from Stranger Things. That is Silent Corruption, a survival horror game designed to capture the spirit of the 90s survival horror, but with a modern twist. The story takes place in Harrogate, a cursed town trapped in an eternal night. You play as Jane, a determined survivor searching for her best friend Nokoa. Her story is more about than just survival. It's also about hope and resilience in the face of overwhelming fear. This game is my love letter to survival horror. I've been a fan of the genre for years, and I've always admired how it combines storytelling, tension, and player agency. I want to create a game that stays with the player long after they finish it. One that doesn't rely on cheap jump scares, but instead uses the atmosphere and predictability, a compelling story and characters to build a truly haunting experience. For me, the atmosphere is the heart of a great horror game. In Silent Corruption, I want players to feel constantly uneasy, not through cheap tricks, but through unpredictability and immersion. While jump scares can be effective sometimes, I focus more on psychological tension and a constant sense of dread. For example, the monsters in Harrogate won't always behave in the same way. While Romero Zombies type of monsters are very cool, they become predictable very quickly. And in my opinion, that's more annoying than scary. That's why I want to make the monsters in my game not so common and also unpredictable, so every encounter feels actually scary. For example, sometimes they'll be aggressive, other times they'll be passive or even avoidant. This keeps the players on edge, because you'll never know what to expect. It's very common on classic horror games to have a combat system that is clunky and ineffective, and that was made on purpose, to make you feel more vulnerable against the monster. And while that can make sense, I personally feel that this approach is detrimental to the immersion, because feeling like your hits don't connect or that the controls are not responsive makes you remember that you are playing a game, and that takes you out of it. And for me, this is frustrating more than scary. So I want to make combat feel good, like you're actually hitting the target, even if you're not making that much damage. Right now, I'm in a prototype phase, with plans to complete it by February next year. Let me take you through everything I've accomplished over the past 11 months during pre-production. I've done extensive research into what makes a horror game great. I also studied how to write compelling stories and characters, ensuring that the narrative is as strong as the gameplay. I've outlined the core game mechanics and created a solid game loop. Jane is fully modeled, rigged, and animated with the basic movements: walking, running, crouching. I've also started whiteboxing the first area to test the layout and the gameplay flow. For the code, the systems that I've implemented so far are the character controller with basic movements, a fixed camera system for that classic survival horror feel, a neat system where the player manages hunger, thirst, and sleep to stay alive, an interaction system for picking up items and interacting with the environment, and currently I'm working on a grid-based inventory system inspired by the inventory system in games like Resident Evil 4, Diablo, and so on. I've designed the game's logo, the key art, to establish the visual identity of Silent Corruption. Looking ahead, here's the plan. First, I need to finish the prototype by February next year. This will include some basic mechanics, a basic art, and just a basic layout on the level, just to test out the core loop and see if all the main mechanics work well together. From there, I'll move into doing a vertical slice, where I'll try to refine the gameplay and the visuals to be able to make a demo and hopefully get some funding at this stage, if not sooner. Ultimately, my goal is to deliver a polished, immersive horror experience by late 2027. If you're interested in knowing more about how my game is going, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel, and also you can watch this next video here to know more. I'll see you there!